everyone. So it's going to be a nice week, I think, this week. It's still a bit early in the morning, but it's only 15 degrees. I don't know if you can see it. I'll put some photos in, but geez, it was smoky, really smoky. So we got a heap of bushland kind of from that main road east for a long time, and it's getting towards the end of burn-off season. So they did it a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't too bad. You could smell it a little bit, but yeah, the weekend just gone, they were doing right here, and you're looking at the photos now anyway, and yeah, really bad, to the point we had to close. We woke up at night time and had to close the windows. They weren't doing it at night time, but I think the wind shifted and obviously still smouldering, and it just blew all the smoke back here Saturday morning and Sunday morning. And Sunday morning we were going to go and walk the dogs, but you couldn't even be outside. It was really bad. So in the car, and we took them to the park that's a fair whack away, and went for a walk around there. You just could not be outside around here. I don't know if they meant to do it. That's the worst. Like, we've been here 13-14 years, and that's the worst I've ever encountered with the smoke. They do it every year, but yeah, it's that was really bad. So I think maybe the wind kind of did something that it wasn't meant to do, and that's why it was that bad. But yeah, not good. But anyway, it was still around this morning a little bit, so hopefully tomorrow morning it's not. So yeah, we'll go from there. You can see there, just gave I'm going to take the Z out for a drive today. Haven't driven it for a while, so take that for a bit of a spin. Give it a wash. Well, washed it, you've already seen it. Quick one, real quick one. That's all it needed. It was just dusty, it wasn't very dirty, so all good. I'm gonna set the plane up, and we'll go through, and I haven't had like a full dress rehearsal, putting it all together completely, and with the wing spars and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll give it a full dress rehearsal outside here, and make sure everything's moving the right way, and go from there. So I'll get it set up outside. It was pretty good actually. I went past the park yesterday, which was a club day, and one of the guys there had that exact glider. Loved it, and I've seen it. He threw it, and full throttle to get it up, and this thing just climbed absolutely almost vertical. So it's got plenty of power. So really good there. And he flew it for about 20 minutes, and just gliding around. He was doing like aerobatics with it and stuff. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to be thermaling and just putting around and things like that. But yeah, good to see it fly. And then a guy rocked up also with the same Cessna I'm getting as well. He was flying it a bit too, I don't know if he had it too heavy or a bit too nose balance heavy, or nose heavy, or just too heavy with a big battery, but he was flying it really fast for some reason. Didn't look scale at all. I don't know why you would buy a Cessna and fly it like that, but anyway, it looked nice in the air in the times he was going a bit slower. So yeah, pretty good. I actually found, so I've ordered a charger last week and I still don't have it. I was going to go, because Wednesday's a club day, so I was going to go to the club on Wednesday and maiden that plane in the afternoon after work. Not sure if that's going to happen, depending on work, I'm not sure, but definitely Friday I'm going to be going. But I haven't got my charger, and I was kind of stressing out because my charger's due on Friday. So unless I get it before 10 a.m, because that's about what time I leave, yeah, I won't be able to charge batteries up. But then I remembered I did have a charger, and I didn't know where it was. It took me about 20 minutes, but I found it. Very basic charger, like pretty much when I get my other charger, I will probably not use this again. But it's just connect up yellow to yellow, and then your balance lead goes into here. So it does 2 to 6S, I think, or 2 to 6 cells LiPo. So yeah, it's good that I've got it, just to get me out of trouble for this week. But once I get my new one, I won't be using that. I got this kind of with what I had. You can see there, hot wire foam cutter actually worked really well. So yeah, I just made those two. If you've seen the previous video, there was a hole here and a big hole here. So whatever I cut out of here, I made a plug to fit this. And now this fits nice. And then I haven't changed here because I haven't got my charger. So This has a single cell LiPo battery in it running, and I do have a 3 cell coming. So the single cell will go in here and stay charged, and then the 3 cell will go in here. So just in case you run out, you've got a backup. So that's a cool little hole ready to go for the single cell battery there. There's no point keeping a battery here for it. You might as well bring it with you. The charger should fit in this spot. I'm not entirely sure. It's 116mm by 116mm. So that should fit in this spot. And then the lanyard can stay where it is. And my little toolkit. This is all the tools. That's all I'm bringing. Screwdrivers and hex keys and things like that. That's pretty much all I'm gonna. If I need any more tools than that, I'm coming home. Previous, I had a toolbox with soldering iron. I had spares servos, and you could pretty much build a plane at the park with the amount of tools that I had. I'm not doing that anymore. It's just too much. I literally want to bring up the plane, this box, and a chair, and the LiPo bag that stores your batteries in. The last thing you want is to put them in there. If they blow up, you're wiping out the whole thing. So you want to keep these separate in a LiPo bag. I've got, hopefully you can see that, but I've got like battery 2 and purchase date. I always like to keep a track of how old they are. And this thing is just a little slidey thing, so that way when you charge them, you put them on green, and after you finish flying them, you put them on red, so that way you don't pick up this one by mistake and think that that's the charged one, and then go and then run out of power and crash your plane. And then I kind of keep them half and half when they are balance charged, which these are, because they were brand new. I haven't charged them. Got a free battery off a mate of mine. The guy I built the water cart for gave me a battery, because I think I did mention it in the last video. The guy that I gave my crashed plane that I crashed 5 years ago, I gave it to him to fix, and he kept it. He still flies it today, actually. It's good to see it every now and again. I did mention that I like gliders, and he has a Radian Pro, so it's got ailerons. It's only a 2 metre, that's a 2.5 metre, but that's okay. They fly really nice. I've seen them fly they're very light. That's why the battery, so that's a 2.5 metre plane, and it takes a 4S big 2600 battery. This plane is 2 metres. It's only half a metre wingspan shorter, but it takes a 1.3, so literally half the capacity, and this is only 3S, not 4S. So yeah, they're very light, floaty planes. They're not good in wind. This will probably be fine in wind, but they would thermal like no one's business. So yeah, so what I was thinking of doing, because that comes with a 4 or probably 6 channel receiver, I'm not sure. So what I might do is take the receiver out of that plane that he's given me for free, put that in the Cessna, and then the 8 channel receiver that I have here, I'll use that in that glider because it has a variometer. Gliders, I like having variometers in gliders. At least you know when you're in lift. Yeah. Let me set this glider up out here, and we'll put it all together and make sure it's all working and everything moving the right way. Click, click. It's got two clicker pins on there. There you go, click, 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 click. Just got to be gentle. You can't go grabbing the foam too hard because you will squash it. It's not that durable. But if the plane was balsa, you wouldn't even be able to do that. You'd squash the balsa on the inside. I'll get a battery. So obviously this takes the big batteries. It's got a bit of heft to it. So I'm not totally finished. I still haven't. You can see the receivers just flopping about there. I haven't got the Velcro yet. So that is coming today though. So by Friday we should be. I'm not really counting. I don't think it's going to happen on Wednesday. Going to the park to fly it for the first time. I think it's going to be a wait till Friday kind of thing. So I don't know if you can see. but I've got that non-slip matting. I've got 3 layers of it, so that way it's nice and puffy. I don't really like putting Velcro on batteries. I kind of do it this way, kind of has worked for me in the past. So you just put it in, squeeze it, and then put your Velcro straps on nice and tight. And that way you squeeze and collapse, and then it's always got pressure. And she won't go anywhere then. So you can see there, I can probably pick the plane up from that. We won't connect that just yet. So the next thing to do is check C of G. I can't remember if this had CG markers on it, but it's 70. That clicks in really nice, and when you want to undo it, you just press a button here and it pops up. It's really cool. I'll get a measure tape. Gliders are a little bit different, but so there is a mark on the wing, but I don't know if that's, no, okay, it's not. 70 to 80 mil, I'll go 70, so that way it's more front heavy. So you kind of, I'll go and see what I've got, but you kind of want to put something at that point that you can feel on both sides, and that way you can feel it and get it, and then see, that to me is tail heavy, I think. Actually, that was right on one of those cracks. There's a crack in the wing. Oh no, there isn't. Okay. So 70 mil there, right behind the spar. And you can see there, it's back heavy. So that will not fly very good at all. So all that means is you undo your battery. We can't really go too much more forward, but we can go a bit. So pretty much the back of the battery is on the line of the Velcro. That's about as far forward as I can get it. Like that. Oh, and the prop's not on. That's good. Maybe I will put the prop on. Yeah, mate, let me put the prop on. That won't take too long. Because that does have a bit of weight in it, and it's right at the front of the plane, so that's going to make a difference. So it doesn't weigh that much, but it is right at the front, so... so what you want to do is make sure there's no oil or anything on the collet. That goes, I think this goes first. Yeah, that goes first because there's a hex thing that it has to fit into. Then this goes on. So I only took that off because I was mucking around with the servos and everything, and I didn't want the thing to just take off on me and cut my hand. Like I said, I've done it before, it's not very nice. So yeah, that's a safety thing. I've actually set it up on the radio that it has a throttle cut now as well. So I'll show you anyway when I get the radio. So as soon as you connect the battery, the motor won't work until you press a switch, till you put a switch down. There we go. That's pretty tight enough. And then that goes on like that, and then I think it's a tiny one. Okay. So yeah, I don't mind putting the prop on now because I have that switch as a safety thing. So even if you're mucking around with it and you bump the throttle, the motor won't go now. There we go. Okay, let's see how that balances out. That's better. Let me just double check where my fingers are. I think I'm bang on it actually. 70 mil. Oh, it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be even better. So that did make a big difference. 70 mil. There. Boom. That's actually too little bit too nose heavy, but it'll fly. So, but if it was that much tail, I wouldn't fly it. But that much nose heavy, it's quite heavy actually, nose heavy. Yeah, but it'll still fly. It'll just won't fly very good. Alfie. So we'll put the battery backwards now, back to where it was. So they had it. So I had it kind of in the middle of Alfie. Where it was originally was like in the middle, and because it's the recommended battery, it fitted perfect. It was spot on where it was the first time, just because I didn't have the prop on. So all good there, all good there. We'll put the wires even in the right spot. They're not connected, but that could make a difference. And we'll try again, one more time. And then again, I will try at the park. Yep, there. And there. Perfect. You can see that's just balancing spot on my fingers. Yep, very good. Oh, don't let it fall. Yeah, I can just roll my finger around on that point there and I can make it go backwards or forwards. So, bang on, that's perfect. Oh, let me go and get that. Okay, yeah, it wasn't for me, so that's okay. So what I'll do is I'll keep this video going until the end of the week. And most of my stuff should be coming in by then. And we'll just install it and go through it. We'll just keep it going like that, and that can be the video for this week. So first things first, so before you connect the battery, you should always turn the transmitter on. And get it talking. So I've got it set up, so that's my volume knob now. There we go. If you could hear that, let's have a look.
Volume 65.
Yep. So I'll leave it a bit louder so you can hear what's going on. So what I was explaining, I don't know if it came through okay, but what I do when I first turn it on, I grab, see that switch was off, that was there. I grab all my switches and I push them all, that one was off, push them all backwards. So everything is away from me, except the knob, because that is only doing volume, it's no big deal. And then your throttle is down as well. But with this plane, you can leave it up like that. So now you connect your battery. So you could hear it beep 4 times. It's telling you that it's a 4S battery. If it went beep, 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 it's 3S, so on. So I can play with my throttle now. And as you can see there, motor, no good, no working. We'll put it here because once that prop does spin, I don't want it to hit the bench. Yeah, so all good. So even if you leave it at full throttle, and this is my motor arm switch, and she will talk to you.
Motor on.
Motor on.
Volume 85. Motor off.
Motor off.
Motor on.
On, and that's why I paid the little bit extra, about $100 more to get this transmitter rather than the NX7. The NX7 doesn't have voice stuff, no voice on it at all.
Motor off.
This does, and for every switch you can make it say something, whatever you need it to make. So yeah, motor off, because all my switches are pushed back, so in that position you can make it so motor on is in this position and motor off is in that one. But like I said, I like everything pushed back and you've got no dramas. So yeah, still no throttle.
Motor on.
Motor on. Motor on. So if I go motor off, I've got no throttle. If I leave it there, motor on, it still won't go to throttle until I go down and then go. So all good. So for safety, motor off. So now we've got, I'll try and set this up so you can see it from the back. So you've got ailerons, you can see that, and if I turn right on the transmitter, that aileron comes up, that aileron goes down, you can see that, and vice versa, left, and that's it. If I just even her up a little bit here, so we'll get that off the ground. Now flaps, I've got configured to this switch.
Landing flaps, takeoff flaps.
So takeoff flaps is like halfway. and you can see there they come down, and that's landing flaps. So that's as much movement as you can get out of them, which is fine. You can see
Flaps up.
see how long it takes. I've got them to take 4 seconds. That way they come on nice and slow, and you don't get that sudden ballooning. If you were to make it go as fast as every other servo, they're all the same servo, so that it can go fast. But if you were to make it do it that fast, you get a big balloon effect when you put them on. So I always slow them down, so that way it's a lot less pronounced when you do come across it. And then the tail here. So rudder. So that's right, that's left, and then up and down, and that's it. So everything's working the right way. We should have enough movement as well. Should be fine. You don't need a lot. Yeah, and that's about it really. There's nothing more I can say. So, and then we go
Motor on.
So yeah, she's a ripper.
Motor off.
She's going to go really good. So yeah, it's as simple as that. I did say I was going to connect it up, so I was going to have crow brakes and like a really complicated glider setup. I'm not going to do that just yet. It's way beyond my kind of programming. I'm still getting to know the radio. So to jump straight into it with a sailplane configuration, so I've got it connected with a Y lead for the flaps and a Y lead for the aileron, so it's only taking up 4 channels at the moment, which means I can't configure these to come up. I can only make them go down. Well, I could make them probably come up as well, but I can't configure everything individually. They're all wired together, so yeah, no biggie. It's not a problem. So did we? Yes, the motor is safe, so I'll go next to it now. You can see it's got a folding prop. Only gliders have folding props. It's just so when you want to stay up there and glide, this kind of comes back streamlined, and you don't lose any energy with a prop. And also, if you notice there too, I'll do it one more time. Soon as I come to 0 throttle, it has a brake on it. So a normal plane will just keep doing that. Even on 0, it'll just keep windmilling, whereas that has a brake. You can see it's got a brake, and then it'll snap back with the wind, and she's good. So that's what you want for gliders. You want to get that prop out of the way ASAP, and stop it from wasting energy. So disconnect.
Motor off.
Motor off. Take the battery out, and we're done. So yeah, just waiting on that Velcro. Like I said, it's coming today. That's what I thought that might be, but it wasn't. Need that hook, that Velcro to secure the receiver, and we're sweet. She's ready to chuck up in the air. Nice. All right, I'll rip her apart, and it's pretty cool. So you should always have your transmitter on first, then you turn the plane on. Then when you're done, that way you're broadcasting a signal before you put this on. So as soon as this sees power, there's already something in the air, like the airwaves. The transmitter is already telling it to do something. But if you do it the opposite way, it's not a big deal, but it's best practice to do it that way. And then vice versa for turning it off. So when you turn it off, you want to turn your plane off, then turn the transmitter off. If you go and turn your transmitter off first while this still has power, this can go into a failsafe. And it depends what you've set it up to do in a failsafe. It may just, you may have configured it to go 20% throttle, 10% throttle, and turn left slightly. So that way, wherever it is, it'll just circle down. So you don't want to do that while it's on the ground. So always pull power from here first, then pull power from your transmitter. And I have noticed on that transmitter, if you go and pull power, if you go and turn the transmitter without turning this off, red screen comes up and it says plane is still powered up. Do you still want to turn the transmitter off, or do you want to go and turn the plane off first? So it gives you a warning. So really cool there. So yeah, very good. This is my first plane that actually has this set up. So it has a plug here. So that's what it gives power to all your servos. 1-2 servos on each wing. Back in the day, there used to just be like a servo cable, and you'd get it on almost there, and then you'd connect your cables up, and then put the wing on the rest of the way. can be dangerous because you can plug, unless you have them labelled, you can plug an aileron into a flap servo, and that'll end your day pretty quickly. So yeah, you don't want to do that. So this setup here is really cool because there's literally no cables to mess up. It always goes in the same spot all the time. So I may even leave them on there. There's no need to take them apart. I don't know why this one's not coming out, but yeah, I can see this getting very annoying very quickly. There it goes. Okay, I did grease them up. It's the spar. Yep, see, yep, okay, right. We'll get a bit of silicone spray on that. Either silicone spray or even a Scotch-Brite. Actually, I might do that. That may fix it as well. Yeah, this may fix it. Feels like it's just got a bit of a surface on it that shouldn't really be there. Bit grippy. That's better. Because it was hard to take off the whole way. It wasn't just the bit where the clips are. It was difficult, the whole spar. So I think that's what it is. They've got to be tight, because obviously if they're too loose and I'm going to do anything, they're still going to allow a bit too much movement. So, but yeah, you don't want them to be grippy, that's for sure. Maybe just clean them down in acetone and leave them. I think if I put grease on them, you know, like dust is going to stick to it, sand may stick to it, and I think it's going to make it even worse. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, much better. Okay, cool. That's that problem fixed. And that's it. Put all this back. So another thing to be wary of, so I'm pretty lucky this transmitter has a folding antenna. So if it didn't have a folding antenna, that's how much, you know, you'd be taking up. My charger definitely wouldn't fit, but now because it's got that, that's awesome. So that's another good feature. Another thing you want to do, I know it makes sense to put your transmitter this way because that's the way you open the case. It's one thing you don't want to do, because when you do close it and the handle's here and you're picking it up this way and stacking it in the car and bouncing around in the car, the whole weight of the transmitter is upside down on the switches. So it's either put it in that way, so then that way the weight of the transmitter is down here. I know it's on sponge, but still you don't want your switches taking all the weight. They're not the strongest things in the world. So it's either put it upside down or put it on the side. It just whatever takes up less room, I suppose. So I got mine there, so all the weight is on the side of the transmitter, and it's not resting on the switches all the time, because when I'm not using it, it's going to be under there, the right way up. So yeah, it's going to be the weight of the transmitter will be on the switches almost all the time, unless I'm using it really. We will leave them here, ready to go for Friday. I think I'm going to ride off Wednesday. I think it's all going to be too much of a rush, and that's the last thing I want to do is rush a maiden flight. Especially I haven't flown for 5 years, so yeah, it's not something I want to rush into. I want to make sure it's all checked over. There's more people there on a Friday as well. Wednesdays are a bit light on, so I want to go on I think it'd make more sense to go on a Friday, so that way I can get someone to look at my plane and just make sure, because I haven't set a plane up for 5 years. So yeah, I want to make sure, just get someone to run their eye over it and make sure the ailerons are moving the right way, the elevator is moving the right way, the linkages are all good. So they're not my favourite style of linkages, because they are just a slip fitting with a grub screw. I've put quite a bit of Loctite on them, so I've set them all at 0 and then put Loctite on them, so we should be right. Should be right there, so all good. I did just yesterday, I bought a 6 metre roll of, it's very similar to this insulation, but not really. It's more like a bubble foil kind of thing. It's for making covers for your RV windows and things like that, or four-wheel drive windows or whatever. It's more of an insulation for that kind of stuff, but perfect for making wind bags. It's only 3mm thick. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely make a wing bag for each wing, just to stop damage, because I know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to get totaled in the car, and I may even make like a tube out of the same stuff for the body to fit in, and then something for the tail to fit in. Just give it that extra buffer. It may sound funny, but like I said, that's all the damage that once you know how to fly and you're not crashing or having rough landings, all the damage on your plane, and it can ruin the look of a plane, is from taking it apart like what I just did there, because you're pulling and pushing and things you shouldn't be doing, or putting it in and out of the car, or putting it in your shed, and then you move your ladder and then the plane falls on the ground. I don't know how many times I did that. So yeah, that's when all the damage does. So as long as it's in like an insulated bubble wrap bag kind of thing, to give it a bit of a, obviously if you run over it with your bike, it's not going to do anything. But yeah, if it fell from there to there, it wouldn't do anything. That cover would take the brunt of it. So yeah, all good there. Like I said, I'll keep the video going. I think we'll leave it there. That's all I can really do now, apart from charging the batteries. I mean, to charge the batteries is super simple, especially with this charger. When I get my new charger, which hopefully will come this week, I'll do a little video on that in this video. But yeah, it's literally plug in, yellow to yellow, and being that it's a 4S, it's got a 5 plug, so a common ground, and then 4 red for each 4 cells in there, and then a common ground, so it's a 5 plugger. So if it's a 6S, you got a 7 plugger. Just find the one that's suited, which is this one. Yeah, it's the most awkward one to get to because it's right near them. And then you choose your charge rate: 1 amp, 2 amp, 3 amp. Like I said, this is a 2600, so to keep it good, I wouldn't go past more than 2.5 amps like that. 2.6 is kind of 1C charge rate. It doesn't say on here. It just says that it's a 35C discharge rate. It doesn't say anything about a charge rate, so I would just err on the side of caution and not go past 2.5, 2.6, and that will be 100% safe then. This thing doesn't have a fan. It doesn't have. It's got one light, like a red light here, to say that it's a LiPo, and I assume it turns green when it's fully charged, and that's it. Yeah, it's not the best, that's for sure. So the ones with the screen will tell you how many milliamps has gone back into the battery. So if you fly it and it's pretty much turning off in the plane, it will turn the motor off. So it's got a low voltage cut off at like whatever you set it to, 10.8, 11 volts. So once you accelerate and it goes down to 9.8 volts, it'll go into protection mode and it won't let you use the motor anymore. Which is fine in a glider, you can get back, but it's fine in any other plane. You can always kind of get it back. You're never too far away. It's not like a drone where you might be kilometers away. So yeah, not a big issue. You just come back down, you land. You will have a little bit of throttle, but you won't ever be able to go full throttle. You might just be able to just touch it, and the voltage doesn't drop. But normally you get a feel for it. You can kind of feel when the battery's going flat because it's starting to get a bit laggy, and plus, something like this would, even in the Cessna, because these are the same batteries I'm going to use in the Cessna, you'll get 10 or 12 minutes out of them, and after about 7 minutes you're kind of going, okay, I've done what I needed to do, I'm going to come in and land now anyway, and you'll land with half a battery, and you don't normally fly until these are dead flat. Plus there's telemetry now with all this new stuff, so you know exactly the voltage of this battery on your transmitter. So yeah, that's not an issue at all. I haven't set that up yet actually, so that's another thing I've got to set up. So yeah, if say you did fly this until it was completely flat, completely flat means it still has like 9.2 volts in it. That's yeah, you don't want to get them down. Well, not this. This is a 4S, so it'd be even more than that. But a 3S is like 9.2 volts is fully flat. Which means if you charge it, you should be getting close to 2600 milliamps back into the battery, so that this charger you'll never know. But my charger that I got coming with the screen on it tells you. So like if you knew this was completely flat, you plug it in, go and charge it, and then it says full, and it's only put 1800 milliamps in, there's something wrong with the battery. So yeah, that's a good thing of having that in there. Another thing is if you, like a brand new plane like that, you're not sure how long this is going to last. It's tricky in a glider. That's the only thing, is very tricky in a glider, because a glider, you're not on the throttle all the time. You could have 2 climbs, and then you might fly for 30 minutes with no with no power on, you're just thermaling. So that makes it a little bit tricky. But let's say with the Cessna, where you're always on the throttle pretty much. So you may fly for 7 minutes and go, righto, it's my first, it's one of the first flights. So you're not confident on how long this battery's going to last. So you might fly for 7 minutes and you still haven't noticed a dip in power. It hasn't gone to voltage cutout, nothing like that. But you land, you charge it, and you let it charge, and then at the end of the charge, once it's back to full again, it might say, I put 1,000 milliamps back in. And you go, okay, so that's pretty efficient, because it only used 1,000 milliamps in 7 minutes. So really, I could use another 1,000 milliamps flying it like how I flew, and I could fly for 14 minutes, and I'd still have 600 milliamps spare. It's not really spare. You don't want to start every flight getting your batteries down. That's when they puff as well. They don't like going down to low voltage a lot. So I would do that. I would say, well, fly for 5 minutes, see how much, and then charge it up, see how much you've used. And, if you've used 1,000 milliamps in 5 minutes, then you can safely fly for 10 minutes because you're only going to use 2,000 and you're sweet. Then fly for maybe 8 minutes on your next flight, put it on charge. And you might go, oh, well, I used 1,800 milliamps. And you go, you know what? I don't want to push my batteries too much. 1,800, I'm cool with that. That gives me a nice 10-minute flight, and it gives me well and true, I'm protecting my batteries, and it gives me a lot of buffer in case I don't have, my first landing is not that great. I can go around. I can probably do 3 or 4 tries at landing. I would do that. Yeah, definitely. So all good. After you've had batteries for a couple years, the same batteries, you'll figure out which one. That's why I like to label them, battery 1, battery 2. I never used to, but after a couple of years of having them, you've always got one battery that's better or worse than the rest of them. So say if one of these batteries performed better than the other, that battery would go in the Cessna. The slightly laggy battery that doesn't like cold mornings and whatever, doesn't give you really full power, bit of voltage sag, whatever, put that in the Glider. The Glider doesn't mind, but the Cessna needs full power, needs access to full power all the time. So that's why I like to label them, so that you figure out which is your best battery and use that in the plane. That deserves it. So yeah. Anyway, this, as usual, video's going stupidly long. Plus, I want to definitely keep this going, and all the little knickknacks hopefully come this week. The charger, that roll of foil. I'm not going to do a video on the roll of foil. It's just making a bag out of it. I don't even know how I'm going to do it. Whether it's going to I'll sew it or just use some Gorilla Tape. I've done it in the past with Gorilla Tape, and that stuff's pretty good. So yeah, I might just do that. I've got the little voltage checker so that you can see how many amps the plane is pulling with that prop. That way you know kind of if you're within limits of the speed controller and the battery and the motor and all that. So yeah, but anyway, I'm not expecting all that until the end of the week. So yeah, we'll just keep going with this video, and I'll just flick it on. Every time something comes in, I'll flick it on, and we'll get into it. So yeah, anyway, cheers for the help. Catch you on the next one. Yeah, 5 minutes after I just finished that last video, Posty came again, different one, luckily, wasn't the same one. Dropped off, I think it's my Temu order. We'll go through it now and see what's in there. Also forgot to mention too, I finally finished that water filter cart for my mate. Dropped it off at his house. I dropped it off last week, but I didn't have the DI tank. So the DI tank rocked up last week, so went back there this weekend just before we went for a scooter ride, and yeah, finished it all up for him. So yeah, he's stoked. We didn't get to try it out, but he did try it out on Sunday. So that was Saturday. I set it up for him. Obviously, you got to fill the tank up. Takes a few hours to fill the tank up. So yeah, he gave it a shot on Friday. He didn't wash a car. He just like squirted on it on a window or something like that. I don't know. He just said he tried it. He didn't wash a car. So yeah, he's pretty stoked with that. Oh, the glue. That's right. Cool. Oh, that's cool. I needed some of this stuff actually before I flew the plane. Well, it's not necessary, but yeah, good to have. I'll explain it to you anyway. So we've got female. Oh, they mix them up. Okay, there should be 2 packs of these. Yep. So let me go and sort these out. But these are more XT60 connectors. And I didn't realise I had as many of as I've already have here, but that's okay. These are the better ones too. I do like that. You'll see the different colour. The ones I've got are yellow. These ones are a little bit more orangey. I prefer the orange ones. They do fit a lot nicer. Yeah, they do fit a lot nicer. Pretty sure they are compatible. Yeah, they're a little bit more notchy though, these ones. These ones, I don't know if they're the original ones, I don't know. Or they're just a copy that ended up being better than the original. Not too sure there, so. But yeah, either, they are very good. So, they come in pairs of 5, I think. So that's okay. We got them all now. We got enough for. I'm never going to need to buy any. Oh, I say that very often, but yeah, shouldn't have to buy any more for a very long time. Got enough there. You do always end up using. If you have a lot of planes, you end up using more of one type than the other. You end up using more. Oh, I can't remember if they're male or female, but they're the ones that go on your battery. Obviously, you might have 4 planes, but you might have 10 batteries, so you end up using, yeah, a lot more on your batteries, whatever that one is. Oh yeah, this is the LiPo bag. Cool. It's not the biggest, but that's okay. I don't plan on having a lot of batteries, so that actually works out pretty good. Has it got a handle? Yes, good. Yep, perfect. That's actually not a bad size. So these are just like a fiberglass insulated kind of flame-proof bag. That's all it's for, to keep your batteries in. I'm pretty sure I should try one day, but it's not a nice fire. It's a pretty violent fire when those batteries go up. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I'm sure someone's done it on YouTube. Overcharge a battery on purpose and see what happens. It will contain it. You can feel it's got it there. It's got enough protection to really do a good job containing the fire. I mean, there's going to be smoke. It's going to be not very nice, but I think it will contain it. That's pretty nice of them. So they put the UV resin in their own little containers, just to make sure that no resin comes in. So that's pretty cool. The only thing I don't like is it comes with, so once you've opened it, you've got to screw that on, and then when you finish using it, you've got to unscrew that and put that back on. That's not very good. So what I might do, I do have this. So what I might do is just use these to fill up this container, and this container has it all in, it's got a lid and a little pourer thing all in one, so much better there. Yeah, that's drop the ball a little bit there, but it is cheap, so whatever, I can understand. What I might do though is actually keep these in the dark. I'll keep them in there. Not that sun's getting in there, but yeah, better off to keep them in the dark like how they had them. These are the hinges that I bought to make the stand for the planes. They're not the biggest, but they'll work. I was going to use 2 per corner anyway, so yeah, they'll work. I'll keep them there. Then we got some epoxy, 2-part epoxy. Yeah, cool. Oh, okay. I thought it was 120 mils per bottle, but it's not. It's 120 mils total, so 60 of part A, 60 of part B. That's okay. No worries. That's handy to have, especially for foam planes. Some foam you can't use super glue; it eats the foam. But you can use epoxy. So it's good for that. If you have any mishaps, you can kind of fix it nice and easy. And then this is that prismatic paper I was talking about. So yeah, you put this somewhere on your glider. Hopefully, is it sticky? It should be sticky. I did type in prismatic tape, but hopefully it's not just a... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's got a sticky back on it. Whoa, okay, it just unraveled on me. Yeah, that's okay. Let me see if this has got a sticky back. Yep. Oh, it's actually quite sticky. That's good. All right, very good. Yeah. So yeah, I'll put that on the glider. It's not necessary at all. On my last glider, I had it on the wingtips, and it made it look like it had lights flashing, like flashing strobe lights every time the sun kind of hit it. And yeah, no one had ever done it. I actually had it from a helicopter left over. I think it came with it. And I'd never used it, but I put it on the plane and it worked really well. And everyone used to ask me, "Oh, what lights are they?" And if they didn't know it was just this cheap tape, they assumed that it just had some flashing strobe lights on it. And yeah, and then like the next time you come to the park, someone else has got it. The next time, someone else has got it. And by the end of after a couple of months, a lot of people started buying it and putting it on their plane. But it just makes it good for orientation. If you make it, especially on a glider that gets quite small. The higher you get, obviously, the smaller it gets in the air. Just makes it easier to see. But yeah, it looks pretty cool anyway. Anyway, that's it for today, I'd say. I don't think the postie's going to be coming anymore. I am expecting a AliExpress order, but I don't think that's going to be till the end of the week, amongst other things. And the Cessna. The Cessna should be coming this week too. So yeah, that'll be a separate video, building the Cessna up. But anyway, yeah, keep it at that, and we'll see you next time I get a heap of stuff in. All right, she's back in one piece. So just had the maiden flight. Just getting back from the park now. So yeah, all went well. Not much to report on it. It's just a glider, so yeah, it's not really going to do anything really unexpected unless you had. I did have one drummer actually when I first got there. I asked I think he's the treasurer, but he's a good mate of mine. So yeah, I just asked him quickly. Can you go over my plane? Haven't set a plane up for 5 years. Can you just make sure everything's moving the right way? Can you make sure, this and that? It's just handy to have another set of eyes over it before you go flying it. So yeah, he had a quick look, and while we were doing that, like it was all working all good last night, I hooked it all together. The right aileron wasn't working. So I pulled all the wiring out, and one of the plugs that plugs into the Y lead came out. So it's actually got locks on it. So I don't know how it came out. But anyway, put it all back together, and then it started doing it again. So it's kind of come out again. So we managed to, somebody had some tape there, so I just chucked a bit of tape. I put it all back together and taped it up so it can't come back out again. So yeah, all good there. So that got fixed, and then we threw it in the air. He launched it for me. I had both hands on the controller for the first flight, which was good. And up she went. Beautiful, stayed up there for about 20 minutes. 0 events, plenty of lift, plenty of thermals, which is a bit funny today because it was quite windy. And then another guy flew a glider. He was standing right next to me, and even he was surprised about how much lift there was. So yeah, it wasn't just me. The Vario worked really well. I had the switch reversed, so when it was said Vario off, it was actually on, and when it was Vario on, it was actually off. So just on the second flight, I switched that around. Yeah, no damage. I think we're all good. The wings went on and off quite easily. No problems there. So this is when all the damage happens, is when you're taking it in and out of the car and handling it. When it's actually flying, that's probably the safest it can be, because you're not touching it. But anyway, yeah, no damage. So all good. There was one. I did take a photo of it. I missed the actual event, but there was a mid-air collision just after I got there. Quite a big one. So it was a yellow Piper Cub and a green and white FMS, same brand as this Ranger. Had a mid-air, and the yellow Piper Cub just exploded mid-air. It was crazy. And then the other plane actually just flew away. And we thought he was all good, but he said he must have broke a prop because he had no power. So he just came in and landed, walked up to the plane, and it had no motor on it. The other plane had ripped the whole front of the plane off, ripped the motor out. He had to go for a walk in the park and go and find his motor. So yeah, it happens. No hard feelings. It's happened. It's actually magpie season right now, and the guy in the cub was trying to get away from a magpie, I think. So he was kind of flying a bit faster than what he normally flies, and the other guy was kind of having a look at the magpies, and then they met up. They met up in the air. So anyway, all good. So a couple things I'm going to change on the setup. So I had like a checklist. I'm going to get rid of that because you turn that on, you turn your transmitter on, it goes into checklist mode, but you then go and plug your plane in to run through the checklist, and I suppose you could just change your order of operation, but I don't feel like doing it. But even though the transmitter's on, it's in checklist mode, it doesn't actually turn the transmitter on, just the screen's on to run through the checklist. Because then I turn the plane on and the thing's just sitting there beeping, so there's no signal from the transmitter, so it's a little bit annoying. Yeah, I don't really want that, so yeah, I might get rid of that. We'll see how we go. The only thing I had it to remind me was to put the spars in, because if you fly without these, the wings will just snap off. That was the only reason. So yeah, I don't know, might have to change a few things. Oh, I did get, we'll play with this now actually. This came in just before I left to go to the park, so that's the power meter. So I've got a fresh battery in there, so we'll turn it all on. I have to go get the keys from my shed. We'll connect it up, and we'll see how much power this thing's pulling.
6 or 8 foot long.
Ended up getting the charger as well. Only thing is, I don't know if you can see it, and there's like a line missing out of the display. Whatever, I'm not going to send it back, I can't be bothered. I've got to pay for postage back. It'll be 2 weeks to get there. Then they'll go, yeah, okay, we'll send you another one, and then who's to say the next one's not going to have it. So whatever, I'm just going to leave it. So channel 2 is this little battery here. I want to balance charge, so this is the battery I flew with today. This is the battery for the Radian that I'm getting Friday. So I'm not going to, my mate gave it to me, it's got a bit too much power in it, so I can't believe it hasn't puffed actually. It's dead flat, so really good. So yeah, you just press this button, so you can get both batteries information there. Channel 1, so we'll do channel 2 first. Press that button. So we don't want to charge it, we want to storage charge it, or put it in storage mode, which instead of 4.2 volts per cell, it'll do whatever it needs to do, discharge or charge, to get them to 3.8 volts per cell. And we can bump that up to 1.3, seeing as though it's a 1.3 battery, we can charge it at 1.3 safely. You can charge it faster, but there's no need to. I'm in no rush. It's a 3S. You can tell that by how many wires. If there's 4 wires, it's a 3S. Start task there. So it's discharging, so it's got too much. It's 12.2 volts. It's pretty much full. So yeah, it's got to discharge it down to the 11.8. So now we hit the channel button. We want to go to channel 1, and same thing. I'm not going to use these batteries for a few days, so we'll put it into storage. 3.8, and it's self-recognizing. If you plug it into the balance charger, I believe, it knows. It can read how many cells, and it already automatically changes it to a 4S. And same with this, we can comfortably charge to 2.6. It's a 2.6 amp hour battery, so all good. Same deal. So this battery had 2 flights with my glider, probably 6 climbs or 7 climbs, and it's still above storage voltage. So that's awesome. You could even go a smaller battery, so no problems there. Oh, storage done. Oh, there you go. How good's that? Perfect. So that was I pretty much flew it to storage voltage. Very good. Yeah, cool. So then we just make sure channel 2 is negative 27 milliamps it's taking out. So all good. So yeah, we'll leave that battery there for now. I have a fully charged battery in the plane. I was going to fly again. The wind just got way too much. So I didn't want to really push my luck too much there. So this is what I was talking about. So comes up with this checklist: hatch attached, test controls, wing bolt secured. It doesn't have remember the spar, it just says the closest thing I could find was wing bolts, so we'll call them wing bolts. So yeah, all my switches are away like that. Now if we connect this, I'm going to take these wings away because I don't want the prop hitting the wing, because we're about to go full throttle here. We don't need this canopy either. Take that away before it blows away. So now if you were to connect this, which I don't like doing, so nothing happens until I get my way through. So yes, 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 and now it'll arm up. And there we go. So if I turn motor on, there we go. I'll flick that off for now for safety. So the way to connect these is pretty simple. You just connect them in line. So it says here load. Load is your motor, which is this one. And then source, I think it says. Yeah, source is battery. Some will say battery, some will say motor. So here we go. We got... yeah, you'd be able to see it, I think. It's a bit of a funny display, but what if I zoom in? That. The sun might make it. It's not a very good display, actually. It's quite dark. Anyway, take my word for it. So
altitude 1 feet, flight pack 16.5 volts.
0.1 of an amp,
Volume
0 amps.
85.
So 16.6 volts. So we're fully charged. We'll turn the motor. Hopefully you may be able to see it there, and then we'll go for it. That was the variometer. I'll turn that off. Telemetry stopped. So we have, so as long as you don't disconnect it from the battery, you can disconnect it from the motor. She won't lose power. And if you can see there, so it didn't store it. All right, we'll have to do it again.
Volts.
So we got about 2 volts of voltage tag. This is okay. I've just figured out why this was $16. It doesn't. You've got to watch it while you're doing it. I think I saw 35 amps. I'll go back on the video and we'll do it. Yeah, 500 watts. I saw that. Yeah, 33. It settles at 33. It peaked at 40. So cool. I'll get some screenshots out of the video and I'll pause it and get some screenshots so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, 40 amps, that's like instant power, which is fine. The speed controller is 40 amps, so that's okay. And then 500 watts, that's cool. That's why this thing goes vertical. It took off like a rocket, absolute rocket. So yeah. We'll turn that off. Yeah, so definitely, don't buy this one. I would not. This is the first. I didn't even know that was a thing about it not not keeping your data. Because yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You want to buy one that keeps your data. Okay, so now let's connect that battery that I just had. Where did that end up? Here. So put your balance leads in, they only go one way. Put your big yellow plug in, like that. So now it's recognised it at 16.5 volts. So we want to go, so obviously you can't do anything because it doesn't know which battery you want to play with. So you want to go channel 1, and same thing, storage. That's it. It remembers everything. So it'll just discharge now. There we go. So this one looks like it's almost done, the little one. Put you back to normal view. Yeah, so this one looks like it's almost done because I'm seeing 11.8 volts there. You can also see, I don't want to, see down here, that's the other battery. So this battery we're talking about, channel 2, you can see the cell voltage for each might be better like that, yeah. So yeah, 3.935 and 3.936 I just saw, and 3.939, so very, very close, each cell voltage. Yeah, there's 3 cells in there, that's why it's called a 3S. Whereas if we go back to this one, because it's got more power, we're looking at 4.1, 4.1, 4.12, 4.12. So a bit all over the place, but it'll balance out. It'll do whatever it needs to do to get them all the way down, balanced out. Yeah. So it doesn't give you a time. This is my first time using these chargers, this charger as well. It gives you an elapsed time, current voltage, cell voltage, what it's doing, what the load that it's putting 0.3 of an amp on, and it's taken out 18 milliamp hours in 1.3 minutes. I don't know what the 85% means. That might be its estimate to when it's finished. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think it's going to take longer than, like, it's not 15% almost there kind of thing. Anyway, doesn't matter. See, this is 60. Okay, that might be what it is. Yeah, it's got 60% to go. We're 60% of the way there before this is at storage voltage. That might be what it is. Yeah, I don't know. All that would be is a voltage. I don't know. Don't know that. But anyway, yeah, but definitely don't buy this one. It doesn't have a memory. So the ones I've used previously, you do what we just did then you can disconnect them from the motor and it'll keep your peaks. So it'll keep your peak wattage, your peak amps, your peak volts, and all that. The really expensive ones will be like a dyno, and you can actually, it's got a play button and it'll replay real time. Well, not real time, but it'll replay what it did real time. Whereas this one is $16 and has nothing. It's just to look. It's like a measure tape. You just look and it's done. As soon as you backed off the throttle, all the numbers change. Yeah, so it is what it is. It's not something you use all the time. You literally use it once every time you set up a plane. And I think I did mention it it's not even necessary for these planes, because these planes come with the motor, with the speed controller, and it tells you that it needs a 4S battery. So the only time you need to do that is if you're going to vary from the recipe that comes out of the box. So if I wanted to change the prop, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you might want to put a bigger prop, but then putting a bigger prop is going to make more amps and more wattage. So then you're going to overdo your speed controller. But say your speed controller breaks and you go, well, you know what, I'm not going to put a 40 amp speed controller, I'm going to put a 60 amp speed controller. So then you can go to bigger prop, but then you're going to get more voltage sag in your batteries, and your motor may not take more than 500 watts, because that was bang on 500. So yeah, it's a bit of a science. I used it a lot when I was making plane. Like, you'd buy a plane, put it together, and then it was up to you to figure out what size servos you needed. Speed controller, you get to know it after a while. Like, you know that a certain size plane needs a certain. It's pretty much prop dependent. So you know that a plane, so if you buy a 3D plane, like an aerobatic plane, and it's 900 mil wingspan, you want a 10 by 4.7 prop on it at minimum. If it's a flat profile plane, then you can probably get away with a 9 by 5 or a 9 by 3. But if it's anything of that kind of nature, you want to go at least a 10 to 12 inch prop. So then you figure out what motor you need, and then that determines your battery and your speed controller. So yeah, there's a bit of a science to it, but after you've had a few planes, you get to know what's what, and it's quite easy. So yeah, so this would not even be something, like, now that I know that, I'm never going to use it again on that plane. There's no need. So this will be something that I won't even bring to the park. It'll stay in there. All good. And then that can go in there. I've been thinking about making some, because if batteries go bang, they normally go bang in this situation when you're charging them. I've only ever had, in all my years doing RC flying, I've only ever had one battery explode on me, and that was because I chose the wrong settings in the charger, and the charger wasn't smart enough to figure out that it wasn't correct. And it caught on fire and took out my parents' lounge room while they were on holiday, so that was good fun. Explaining that to them when they got home. So what I've been thinking about doing, you can buy them from AliExpress. I'll probably just buy a pre-made one. You can buy a board that your batteries connect to, and then they have a lead that connects to your charger. I'll put a picture of one. It's just an extension board, so that way the battery doesn't have to be here. What I can do is put the battery kind of in here, in like the flame-proof bag, with a cable to it, and then we're cool there. So you can get the board. That's one way of doing it. Another way is just make up an extension lead, which is what I'm thinking of doing. You can buy these balance leads terminated at each end in different lengths. So that's what I might do. I might just buy a 300mm balance lead extension. You just get two. You only need 2 of each, and I'm only ever going to have 4S and 2S batteries, so I need 2 4S and 2 3S batteries, and that's it. That's all you need. So yeah, I might look into that and then make up my own extensions, 300mm, and 300mm would be enough to have the battery in here zipped up and charging in here. So I think that's a good little modification that we can do. The boards, the boards are cool. They look nice, but they're not long enough to go in here. So just keep it simple is often the best case. So yeah. But anyway, I still have some more stuff coming. I've got I can't remember exactly, but I've got the battery, the 3-cell battery. So this runs off like one 18650 battery at the moment. I've got a pack that has 3 of them. Obviously the voltage doesn't change. They're still hooked. They're not in series to multiply the voltage. They're in parallel to multiply. So it's a bigger fuel tank. That's all it is. It's times 3. It's the same voltage as this battery, but it's 3 times the size. So 3 times as much capacity. So yeah, just longer flying times. With the normal plane, it's not really necessary. I mean, this last 6 hours, you're not going to fly more than 6 hours in a day. But with a glider, you're kind of up there for, like today, I was up there for 40-50 minutes total. So I didn't even see what the voltage was. Let's have a look.
Warning gear, position 0, volume 85, telemetry start.
What do we got? We've got a switch in the wrong spot.
Volume 75,
there we go.
motor off.
We're still at 4 volts, so I've lost 0.2 of a volt with all that flying. So it's not an issue, but I like reserves. I like reserves for things like that, so I think that's what we'll do. Well, I've already bought it, but it's not here yet. So yeah, like I said, I'll keep this video going. We'll just do some quickie kind of things. Little, not reviews, but I'll just show you what. It's the bare minimum, pretty much. It's the bare minimum if you want to get into the hobby. Unless you got cool mates that let you use all their stuff. But you need a charger. You need things like that. So yeah, you can probably get away without the watt meter if you buy ready to go planes, because like I said, someone's already done all the hard work of picking all the parts out that work together. But yeah, all good. But yeah, the flight went really well. I was going to film it. I bought all my cameras and everything. The guy that I was going to ask to film it for me wasn't there, and I just could not get a setup. I've got that head camera bit. I didn't want to look like a bit of a dick there on the flight line, and also it was a maiden. So as much as it would have been cool to film the maiden, I didn't want that at the back of my head. Trying to figure out filming stuff. But yeah, 2 flights. Both flights were about 20-25 minutes each. Both flights were on the same battery as well. That's why that battery's still full, because I didn't even use it. I was going to go up again, but then the wind picked up, so it would probably be okay in the wind, but I haven't flown for 5 years, so I didn't want to push my luck too much, so I just left it. But yeah, apart from that little hiccup at the start that servo wasn't working, everything else was Mickey Mouse, so worked really well. I put some Expo in, so that way it just dulled the controls down a little bit around the center. I got 30% ailerons, 30% elevator, 30% on the rudder. You can, so if you saw there on the watt meter, it peaked at 40 but then settled at 33, so it's peak amps. It's when you jam the throttle on. So to combat that 40, so you don't really see 40, you can put a throttle curve on so that it takes a little bit of time to ramp up, and then that'll stop that peak 40. It'll just ramp slowly up to 33 and not go above 33. Everything here is fine to hit 40, so it's okay. So I'm not, you can get rid of it, but you don't have to. You can see that prismatic paper. I put a little bit on the rudder. I don't think I've filmed that before, but yeah, I've got a little bit of that prismatic paper there on the rudder, and that works really well. It was like red lights flashing at me. I'm sure you can see that in the sun there. Yeah, works really well. So good there for visibility. I put some black. I don't know if you saw that. No, I don't think I filmed that. I came out late one night. I couldn't sleep, or early one morning, and did a bit of stuff to it. So yeah, got the black in there, and that was good. I was up. I heard it say 512 feet is about 160 meters. That was about as high as I got it. So that it worked really well. I put you can't really see it, but in here, so you can see these little tiny wires. I've just pierced them into this wire, which is what connects to the battery, feeds into the receiver, and that's how you get your pack voltage. So the voltage of here, that's how you get your transmitter to tell you how much power you have in here. So that was really handy, because sometimes you don't know how many climbs you've done, or yeah, and that's how I knew. I was like, well, I think it tells you every minute. I got it set up every minute to tell you your height and pack voltage. And she said, what was it? It was like 16 or 14.8, and I think I've got the low voltage at this at 13.6 volts. So I was like, oh, I've got another volt. So yeah, I might as well come down, you know. And that was after a climb. So yeah, so that's one way of knowing how much you got left in your battery as well. Anyway, like I said, I'll keep this video going for the new stuff that's coming in. Quick rundown every time something comes in, and then I'll get the video up and posted, and all good. But yeah, all good. I'm happy. No dramas. Got the plane back in one piece. So yeah, very good. I can't wait for the Cessna. The Cessna should be in a few days. So yeah, that'll be really good. I'll do a separate video. That won't be part of this video, because that's a bit more. I mean, it's the same. It's still a, you know, aileron, flaps, rudder, elevator, throttle. It's the same, but it's a bit of a different plane. So yeah, yeah. So we'll just do a separate video on that, I think. So all good. Anyway, we'll see you then when the Cessna rocks up. Cheers. Bye.